Okay, let's see. Get the mic pointed right. Come on, baby, get up there. Oh, yeah, that's good. Get my head pointed right. Am I sitting up too straight? Maybe I need to slouch a little bit. All right, let's see who's here. Gunner's here. Maggie's here. Chris is here. Clint's here. Holy cow. All the cool kids are here. So let's just hang out. Clint, I have got an idea I might need your help with, if you're interested. One of the things that I see that comes up, we got a few minutes left here before the show starts. It comes up every fall, at least in the last several years, has been high school football. And the lack of, I'll say, minimally qualified camera people. They take some 15-year-old and put him or her on a camera and said, okay, follow the action. And that's the instructions they get. The least they could do is take away their cell phone so the camera wouldn't sit in one place while the action was actually down here. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I want to do a Saturday workshop for high school kids that'll be doing camera operators in the fall for their school. And I think in a couple of 3 hours, we can put together, I think we can put together a training, quote unquote training, that would last a couple of 3 hours, maybe only 2, and could really benefit high schools all over the country, and could be and if we recorded it, obviously do it live so that there's some interaction with the audience, but then record it and make it available on YouTube after the fact too. I've done this with some other aspects of broadcasting, and it's been really well received in the past. And I wanted to put something together for this past fall, the fall we're currently in, but I just dropped the ball and didn't do it. So I was thinking about something like that for next year. Well, it's not too late for basketball season, but some probably late summer or something like that. We'll just have to see. Anyway, I'll shoot you an email. Jan's here, so yeah, he'd probably like that idea too. Just talking about how difficult it is to get qualified camera operators. And, sometimes even the simplest of tips can make all of the difference. If there's just a top 5 list that we can laminate and stick on cameras for the camera operators to know, it can make all the difference. I've watched some broadcasts where they are doing a 2 or 3 camera shoot, and cameras 1 and 2 are the same shot. So that's not really helpful. And there's no sense in switching back and forth. Hey, Otis, welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Good to see you. There is about a 20-second latency. Should be less than that. We'll have to see what it is between the time I see your comment and the time you hear my response. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So a 14-second. I was watching the return video over there. So there we go. All right, Clint's interested. Good deal. DJ Ware is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Tommy Willis is here. Another best of best. Thank you, Tommy. You're so nice. Glad to hear you figured out your Cat 6 question. Tommy had a problem with the Cat 6 running in the crawl space under their church, and it had been down there for a couple of years and was beginning to not carry the signal consistently. And they ran a new Cat cable, and that was what it was. The old cat wasn't doing its job and let the mice eat the cable. How about that? All right, so yeah, let's get this show on the road. This is going to be an interesting. This is going to be an interesting show. This is Tommy. I appreciate you saying this is going to be the best of best shows, but this is going to be a sleeper show. This is going to be one of those shows that people just discover and they're like, "Damn, I've needed to know that forever." Clint was a lineman for the county. There's a song about that. All right, here we go. And by the way, the star of today's show is the X-Keys XK-80. And we are going to use one of the customized purple buttons here to start the show. So here we go. Sit tight. Hope it works. Oh, golly, yeah. You caught me grooming. I was looking at myself in the well, it's not really a mirror because my hand's on the wrong side. But anyway, what can I say? What can I say? Vanity, vanity, vanity. So glad to have you guys here with me today. Today, our special guest is the X-Keys XK-80. Oops, I'm tearing apart stuff here at the desk. Sorry about that. And we'll get to that in just a second. But I was mentioning in the pre-show, and of course, if you watch this show and you watch it on YouTube and you watch it after the fact, you get the pre-show, the show, and the post-show all as one show. Why we differentiate between the pre-show, the show, and the post-show, I don't know. But it provides a nice structure, and it kind of keeps us on track for the most part. We were talking in pre-show, if you're just now joining us, Clint and I, about putting together perhaps a workshop for budding camera operators for fall high school football, and trying to narrow that niche down to just that group. Not to say other people couldn't be invited, but thinking about a Saturday in the fall or maybe late summer where we could do a 2 or 3 hour session, a live session. So people are asking live questions. You know, it's great to watch a video and to get information from that video. But if it's a pre-recorded video, you can't ask it a question. Well, you can, but you're an idiot if you expect an answer. So the idea is that this would be the kind of thing where people could gather, nominal cost, $29, put as many kids in the classroom for $29 as you want to, and go with it. That would be the thing to do. So working on that and put that in your roadmap for things you don't want to miss for next year. If all you do is make sure that the local high school knows about it. It doesn't have to be vMix specific, but it's nice if it is. But we will be talking about manually operated cameras. We could do one about PTZ, but I don't know that anybody's using PTZ's traditional PTZ cameras consistently in sports production for main or number 2 cameras. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit because I'm really excited about today's show. Today's show, actually, truth be told, today's show is going to feature 3 XK-80 X-Keys. Why 3? Well, because number 1, this one is already set up. Number 2, this one we're going to unbox. You notice it still has the cellophane on it. But if we unbox it, we can't use it to show it setting up because it has to be plugged in before you start vMix. So I can't restart vMix or I'll lose you. So I have cheated and I have set up this one. As you can tell, it already has power by the green button right here, and of course all the red buttons here. So yeah, we'll do that. All right, so with no further ado, let's dive in. Oh, and by the way, in the chat today is none other than the princess of X-Keys herself. So say hi to Maggie. She's here to defend X-Keys, answer any questions you might have. And oh, before I forget, we're going to do a special. It's November. So we're going to do a special in the month of November. If you want to purchase, and this is only the X-Keys XK-80, and it's only from Eastern Shore Broadcasting. But if you want to get one of these, you can get it with, sit tight here, number one, a free vMix update. So if your vMix is kind of expired and you want to try out the new vMix 26 that we talked about last week, if you buy one of these, you get a free update to vMix 26. Or just a free update to vMix 25 if you're still on 22. And X-Keys, Maggie is going to throw in a set of video switcher buttons. So that'll be some of the cool buttons like the camera buttons and the take buttons. And I've used a few of those in my really complicated custom design. Well, you know what? I've got a desktop image. So let me show you the desktop image instead of just, yeah, there we go. Let's get that off the screen. So you can see this is the way I've got mine set up. And this was gifted to me by X-Keys several years ago after NAB. And they didn't want to bring it home. And they said, here, will you take this? And I said, are you kidding? Yes, I'd love to have my own X-Keys, XK-80. And it had the vMix button on it and had some of the other vMix buttons on it. And I've repurposed this one, for example, as my cough button. If I push it once, it cuts my audio. If I push it a second time, it brings my audio back. But some of the other buttons on here, you can see these are the buttons that just come with it. They're just blank keycaps. We can pop it off. Whoops, I popped off the whole key there. But we can take the keycap off and the top off and take the label out. This is just something I made on my dot matrix printer. Nothing, my dot matrix, my printer. So we're going to put this button back on, and we're going to, let's see if we can press it. There we go. There we go. So let's go back to where we were. How about? So we've got a merge button here. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. And then some of the other buttons like the record button, the stream button, the arrow button, the take button were buttons that came, I think they came with this kit. I'm not sure. I'll have to see what the video switcher kit has got. So yeah, Maggie's there. Maggie was in the warehouse at PI Engineering checking her X-Keys stock prior to the show. I caught her there. And it's like, oh yeah, we're doing the special. You want to come in and defend yourself? She's like, oh my gosh. Well, yes, okay. Anyway, so she and I will work all that out, and we'll have it on the website later today or later this week, one of the two. So that's the deal. But here, let's get into the everybody loves an unboxing, right? Heck no, nobody likes an unboxing. Well, we're going to do it anyway. So let's bring in this guy, and we are going to literally unbox him on air. I carry a razor knife wherever I go. By the way, you can't take a razor knife into the federal courthouse. They frown on that. Asked me how I know. Yeah. Okay. So we'll take all the plastic off. All the plastic goes away. Get rid of that plastic. Okay. And then this is what we get when we open the box for the first time. You can add up to 3 years to your X-Keys warranty, factory warranty, by doing all this stuff. That's cool. Nothing on the back of it. Here is the X-Keys programmable keyboard product manual. Simple 4 pages. Very good information. The last page is the warranty. And we may get back to that, but it tells you what's supposed to be in the box, and then there's a quick start for Windows, and then for Mac users, developers support compatibility, identifying the keys, tall and wide, backlit, feet, etc., 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 etc. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then there is a kind of a product catalog, so it's nice to have that to know what other X-Keys you got. And then is a big packet. Let's see if we can go to... it's instructions. Here we go. It's instructions to tell you how to print your own keys if you want to. So the included pre-printed and blank stickless key legends align themselves under our key lenses, providing a clean, professional finish for your dedicated keys. Not something I did, because I think mine predated these, but you can see these are kind of pre-sliced, and you can either handwrite them, or maybe there's a template you can download. Let's see. No, I don't see that. That would be cool, that you could run it through your printer. So we've got one of stickless keys. So I guess that means once you peel them up, yeah, they're not sticky on the back. And then others that you can use however you want. So we've got keys like that. We've got a bag that has three triple keys in it, or those are double key. No, those are double keys. And also in it is this little device that is a key puller. So you can pull those keys off. In fact, we'll do that in just a minute. We'll leave that out so we can use it. And then the X keys and the world's longest USB cable. Wow. All right, so we're going to put all that back in the box because we're not going to set this one up. We're going to set up a different one, but we'll leave the key puller out here just in case we need to do that. So let's move this guy out of the way, and we'll bring in his stunt double. Okay, and this is the exact same thing. It's just already plugged into. Oh, look at that! My mic is in the shot. What else is in the shot? All sorts of stuff in the shot. I didn't prepare very well for today's show. Anyway, you notice that the red keys are all on, and that the X keys here is just slightly misaligned. We need to talk to quality control about that. But the green light is on. That's the top part. The bottom part shows us the serial number, the model number. We've got some legs here that we can move around if we want to, and it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. I'm always impressed with the build quality. But we want to turn off the backlights, and we want to go ahead and get this configured for vMix. So one of the first things we need to do is we need to go to the XKeys website, which is xkeys.com, and we need to go to Software, XKeys Windows, and get the XKeys Basic setup. Click here to download. So we'll do that. We'll download that. It's already downloaded. Let's go ahead and install it. And we can see there it is. It's extracting the basic setup. And it says don't run any other software while we're doing this. Tough beanies. It's going to happen anyway. So it's going to take just a second to install. There we go. And we're going to launch it. Boom. And it says multiple X keys were detected on your system. Please select the desired X keys device to program from the list. And number one is XK-80 HID, sorry. And number two is XK-80 HID. Well, that's no help. Which is which? I'm guessing the second one is the one we just put on there. So let's just make a guess on that one. And oh, you know what? Haha. Watch that light when I select the second one. That's the second one. You can see it selected. So let's select the first one. The light goes solid, but my XK-80 starts blinking to tell me, hey, I'm the selected one. Okay, so they already figured that out in advance. So let's go back to this one, the second one. There we go. And now we know which one we're going to play with. So we're going to play with that. Okay, and this window popped up. Close that for just a second. Pay no attention to those icons. So this is the XKeys basic setup. I am not going to do much in this right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to, oops, sorry. Where is our screen capture? There it is. That's what we wanted. Lost the shot for just a second. So there's our screen capture. This is the XKeys basic setup. I am just going to go to backlighting, and it says allow XKeys basic setup to reset the backlights. And when I do, all my lights go off. So right here, we can see all my lights are off. And I can toggle these lights on and off. I can turn on bank 1, which is all the blue ones. And I can turn off bank 1, which is the blue ones off. I can turn on bank 2, which is the red ones, and I can turn the red ones off. I can turn the blue ones on and the red ones on, and then I can turn them off. And then, in this case, now that I've turned them off and on, just to make sure they're all working the way they should, I'm just going to X out of this, and it says, hey, there are unwritten backlighting changes. Do you wish to save them to the device? Yes. That's all I need to do at this point. Yes is all I need to do, is to save the backlit. All right, so let's go back here to this guy. Sorry, these little things keep getting in the way. So now we just have a blank keyboard with, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 keys down, and then that would mean 10 keys across. And we can make the do anything we want. Before we get to anything we want, though, let's talk about how these little keys work. They're really pretty cool. So we've got our little key puller here. And let me see if I can go ahead and grab a whole key. The key puller has got a little notch here and a little notch here, so it'll fit under the key. And I can pull the key up and out. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. And so what we've got is the key. And the key on the back has it looks like an X-shaped hole that fits this X-shaped device right here. And this is a plunger right there. And those will actually pull out too. I don't have a plunger pull-out tool with me right now. But the neat thing about these keys is you can pop this little cap off, what they call the lens. It's easy to pop off. Anybody can do it. Ugh. We'll have to cheat a little bit. I just went and had my nails done, so there we go. So that comes off and allows us to put a little label on here, and then that little clear lens pops right on it. There we go. And it has a little curved bottom right there that tells us the curved bottom goes towards me. So we're going to put that key back on, kind of in its position, and then I'm just going to mash it. So there it is. It's all settled in. Oh, you know what? That's what happens. I was wondering what was going on. This guy is picking up some of the controls from the other one, I bet. Let's do a vMix configuration on this before we get any further. So to do that, we're going to go to, yes, we're going to go to infinity on the top right, but don't pay any attention to that. And let's go to our shortcuts section. So we're going to go to settings. We're going to go to shortcuts. And then at this point, we are going to go to, what are we going to go? Oh, we're going to go to MIDI settings, because technically, in a way, the vMix X keys are a MIDI device. Let's just pull that up right there. So we're going to go to MIDI settings, and we're not going to pay any attention to any of this. We're going to go to channel mappings, and we're going to go to controller. Remember, we've got two of these, the XKeys XK-80, and in this case, it says /60, and then a second one. And the first one is assigned to channel 2, and that's where a lot of my shortcuts, you see on my shortcut list over here, a lot of these will say MIDI note off 2:73. Well, 2 is the device, 2 is the controller. So I want to set my second controller, the one we're going to set up in just a minute, for a different channel. And I've got 16 channels I can choose. Let's set it up for channel 3. Channel 3 is going to be that controller now. just in case I put something else in and I need that to be channel 1. So we are going to take a template, and let's see if we've got a template here that we like. There's a Kaya template and a launch control template, PTZ joystick replay, shuttle, X keys, XK-64. No, that's the replay controller. Video switcher set. No, that's not the one we want. So we are just going to not take any of these. Maybe we should make our own. We could make a Tom one and see if vMix would take that. All right, so let's just close that. So we're not going to use any of that. So we are going to go back here. Whoops. We'll close that for the second. And we're going to go back here, and we're going to make some keys. Let's get this guy out. So one of the easiest things to do for me is the tactile feel of the keyboard. I can find the bottom left, the bottom right, the top left, and the top right pretty easily without looking. So I want to make these buttons, buttons that I might need to be able to do without looking at them. So this, for example, might be, and not setting this up at all like a traditional switcher. This might be the cut to my main shot button, so that no matter what goes on in my show, I can cut to this. And this is for a one-man show where I don't have anybody running the show except me, nobody to blame except me. If I get in trouble, I want to be able to get out of trouble by pushing this button and have it go to essentially this shot right here. This is the shot I want for that button. And in fact, that's how my X keys is set up right now, is that the main shot is that button right there. So I can, if I get in trouble, I can find that shot. So let's set that up. So we'll go back to our desktop capture here, and we're going to go in and set up a shortcut. By the way, there's sort of a backdoor into shortcuts that I like to use. If you use this little button right here, the View Shortcuts button, you can view the shortcuts, but you can also edit, and that'll take you in just a few keystrokes directly to the shortcuts menu. All right, so let's pull this up there so it doesn't distract. We're going to use this button right here, and we're going to say Add. That's what we do with a shortcut. And then the first thing we do is key control, and we're going to say, okay, let's just find it. And then all we have to do is mash it. And you see it says MIDI note on channel 3. That's the channel we wanted. And it tells us that this button is note 7. And the velocity is 127, means it's a full key press. 0 means that I pressed it down and let it up. And if you have a T-bar, you can actually get 0 through 127 incrementally. I think that'll work for the jog shuttle too. I'd have to check. Probably the joystick too, anything that has kind of a variable motion to it. So in this case, I want it to change on the downstroke. So I'm going to hold the button down, and the velocity is going to be 127, and I'm going to say this is that. So I'm going to say okay. And now I can let go of it, and now I've got channel 3, note 7, and the value is 127. I want the function to be, in this case, it's going to be a transition. Where is that? Transition. There we go. Transition is going to be a cut. This is my get out of trouble button. Duration, don't care about the duration because it's a cut. It doesn't have a duration. And the input, in this case, is going to be my main shot right there. Main shot, mix 1. Assign shortcut to output number. Nope, we're not going to do that. If we want to document, we could use a title, and we might say that this is going to be the main camera. Yeah. We'll just say main. How about that? All right. And then down here, we can make it a local shortcut. That is, it only works with this preset, and we can have it show in the web controller. I don't want it to show in the web controller. I do want it to be a local shortcut, so it only goes with this vMix preset. So we're going to say okay. So there we go. We've got it. It's there. So at this point, if I mash this, if we did it right, we should get a main shot. You ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. We're out of trouble. One button press. Can't get much cooler than that. Well, Actually, we can get much cooler than that. Let's try something else. Let's go back there, and we'll go back here where we can see. vMix also has something called an activator. And an activator can be used to activate or turn on or off the color behind the button. Now, I'm not as good with these as I am with shortcuts, but let's give it a try. So we're going to go to Settings. We're going to go to, there's shortcuts right there, but we're going to take Activators, which is right below it. And we are going to, let's see, do we need to enable something? Let's enable, no, channel mappings. XK-80 is on channel 3. Okay, that's all good. Whew, boy, shall we try that? Let's risk it. I really don't know what I'm doing here. So we're going to say find on the downstroke, and the event is, what is the event? The event is going to be a button press. Is that an option? There we go, button press. The type is going to be a button LED. Oh, there we go, X keys button. We're getting lucky here. And let's make it red if the camera is, and make it local, red if the camera is on. So let's try that. Okay, okay. So we'll go to the camera, and this is going to change cameras, but I'll change back so you'll know. And ta-da! I did it wrong. So let's try it. Golly, I hate doing this. Shouldn't have gone down this road, but now that I'm there, let's see. Somebody in chat knows about this. Help me out here. All right, let's see. X keys button LED. Event is button press. What do we got? Anything else here? Input mix, input preview, volume, solo. I just don't think. Oh, replay camera, video call. I think it's button press. I think the type is X keys button. But let's just try button LED for a second. And we'll say, oops, nope, that one doesn't help at all. Let's go back to X keys button. And we said red. And yeah. So what's the problem here, guys? When I press that, it should turn that red. I've done something wrong. Yes, I have. Well, shouldn't have gone down that path. I'll have to find it out. I mean, it works fine on my X keys. I guess I could go in and see what I did. Let's see. Let's make sure we're setting it up on the right. We'll go to activators. Event is a button press. Do we know which device it is? Note. Fine. 3.7 button press. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so it tells us channel 3, which is the unit we're on, 3. Note 7, so that's good. Event is a button press. Tim says set the action to an insert rather than a camera, and you can show both the function and the key color. Okay. Set the action to an insert. Insert input. Input. No, don't see an insert. Did you mean input? Input. Set action to an input. Is the X keys enabled under enabled devices? Yes. Yes, it is. We did that earlier. Matthew, if you would show up on time. Okay, let's see. Let's just run through this again. Input playing, input volume, input button press event. Yeah. Then you let the X keys buttons. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, let's just go over and check. Oh, it doesn't look like I've got any activators set up on my other X keys. How about that? Why do I not have an input here? I don't have an opportunity for an input. All I want to do is change the color of the, so we'll change it to an input. There we go. There we go. Let's try that. Let's try that. Are we going to get lucky with this one? Yes. Yes. That is indeed what we wanted. And that's what Tim was trying to tell us. Right, Tim? Tim's like, no. All right, let's make the one next to it, this shot right here. So we'll make a, first we'll make a shortcut. So we'll add, we're going to find it, we're going to press and hold that button. And that is channel 3, which of course is our new X keys, and note 15. And the function is going to be a cut. And the cut is going to be to, what is this, number 75, I think? Let's go down to the bottom of the list. 75 is, yeah, that shot. We don't want to do anything, and this is going to be the keyboard shot. All right, and now we're going to do an activator and add it and find it, and that'll be that button, note 15, and the event is going to be an input, and it's going to be input number 75. Oops, where we are, 75, right there. Assign activator to input number. Sure, we'll do that right now. Type is going to be X keys button, and it's going to be red. We probably need to be able to turn these off at some point too. We'll try that. All right, so we're on this one. Let's switch to the other one. Oh yeah, that's cool. Can I show you this shot without changing the X keys? Nope. Let's see. Let's try. Do I have another shot? Here we go. I've got this shot right here. Oh, even that one changes it. I know a way around this. We'll let this shot be our main shot so that we can see it. So we'll change it, go to settings, go to shortcuts. We want to find that one. And it's going to be number 37 right there as a cut. And instead of going to main shot, we're going to go to virtual shot, which is number 2. And we're going to change our activator to go to virtual shot number 2. And let's see if we can see this now. So yeah, so the button's on because we're on virtual shot number 2. If we go to this one, it should turn that light out and turn that light on. Yeah, there we go. So now we can go back and forth between the two of them. And, oh, you know what would be fun? Instead of doing a cut, let's do a merge. That can be more fun. So a shortcut, we'll say a cut. And let's go to a merge. Where's a merge? Merge, merge, merge. There it is right there. Merge main shot. Do we not have a shortcut for this one? Yeah, there it is. So we'll make that a merge also. Okay. So now as we merge, there we go. It's just going to merge back and forth a little bit more gently. I was hoping the keyboard would merge, but if I merge, that's right. Tom says, when you first set up the button, you canceled it before you saved it. Tommy, that wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Okay. So we've got buttons that tell us that this is our active shot right now. Number 2, the keyboard shot. And when we press that button, it's going to tell us that number 1 is the active shot and number 2 is gone. So it tells me the status of what's going on with my vMix just by looking at my X keys. How about that? That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm thrilled. I mean, that's all you need to know to set up your whole event. If it's a trigger, the trigger happens within an input. You don't have to worry about the X keys executing a trigger because that's not an outside function. That's an internal function in vMix. For example, on my XK-80, when I mash the main shot button, it also changes the camera angle, and it adds the lower third and the QR code, and after a period of, I think, about 10 seconds, oh, wasn't the timing good on that one? Those go away. Have to sneeze. And that's because I had the sneeze button. Actually, it's a cough button. Actually, it doesn't even have a label on it at all. It just has a giant banana on it, so that when I mash that button, it cuts my audio. And then if I mash it again, it puts my audio back on. So it's a toggle switch. But that's part, and that doesn't have an activator as part of it. That's just a shortcut. So let's make a cough button here, and we're going to make it right there. So we'll go into our shot here. We'll go to settings. We're going to make a cough button. It's going to be a shortcut. We're going to add it. We're going to have, stop. Let's pull that up there like that. There we go. Now we're going to add it. We're going to find it. We're going to hold it and press it. And the function is going to be an audio function, right? Audio. And it's going to be, in this case, it's going to be audio, because that tells us right here, notice the fine print, toggle audio mute on or off. Okay, so we're going to toggle it off and on, and we're going to assign it to my microphone input. And that is my desk mic, where it is right there, my AT897. And so we'll just say that's going to be the cough button. And we're going to only assign it to this shortcut. I don't think we did that to one of our other shortcuts. Yeah, that's the one that they end up in kind of in bold. Let's take this one down here and modify it so that it ends up being a local shortcut too. And now we see we have 3 local shortcuts, and they're all bolded. And those won't show up in any other vMix preset, just this preset. Just this preset. That's pretty neat. And let's see if it works first, and then we'll put an activator on it. So let's go, we'll go here, and we'll press it, and I'm going to watch, actually, let's go here. And you can watch the volume meter right here and see if that goes off or not. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, and on. Yep, you didn't get to hear me say off because the mic was off. But yeah, so that's working. So we put off and off and on and on and off and on. And I can just tell by looking at my main audio output right here that that the button is in the on position. But let's be able to tell by the button. So let's set an activator. This is going to be a little tricky here. So we're going to go to activators. We're going to add one. It's going to be just this preset. The activator is going to be this button right here. And The event is going to be, do we have an input audio? There we go. Input audio. And that's going to be, what is that, number 20. And we're going to make it a X keys button LED, and we're going to make it red blinking. Let's see if we get lucky. Lucky. All right. Oh, it's already red blinking. What if I press it? I want it to be red blinking when the audio is off, not on. So let's go back and fix that. Settings, activators, input audio. How can we do that? I think, no. Let's have another go at find. So, yeah, so a push down 127 would be all the way on. Event, input audio, let's see. Note 79 to 0. Input audio. Volume. Well, I think we've got the right thing set, but we just kind of have it the other way. So in this case, red blinking audio is on. I'll have to play with that and see which way it is. Yep. Joe DeMax is here. Hello, Joe. Let's fix that one as a local preset. There we go. All right, so we have set up this guy, and this currently is telling us, hey, audio is on for this mic. We want to turn it off. Now it's back on again. All right, so we've set up 3 keys. This key right here, bottom left, where we can find it easily, is our main camera. Next to it, next right over, is going to be, you know, this shot here in the big window right here, the preview window. That's that shot. And then this one will turn the audio off and on. Red blinking right now tells us it's on. I don't like blinking light like that. Let's change it to always red to tell us the audio's on. So we'll get an activator. It's going to be there. And it's just going to be red all the way. Oh, let's just do blue-red. What do you say? It's election day next week here in the U.S., and we want to be nonpartisan. So now we have a purple light. It's almost like a Ukrainian flag in some ways, but not really. So there we go. Joe wishes there would be a simpler way of doing this sort of thing. Wonder if there was a simpler way of doing this. Is there a simpler way? I'm teasing because Joe has a simpler way. We need to bring him on the show. All right, so that very quickly is, not that quickly, it took a long time, is basically how to set up an X key. Very basic, very basic. And during the month of November, if you would like an X key XK-80 like this one of your own, here is an offer you can't refuse. Number one, we're going to throw in a vMix update, $60 value that will update your vMix to the newest numbered version. So if you've got 22 or 23 or something like that, you can update immediately to 25. It doesn't update you from HD to something else. That would be an upgrade, but the update updates your big number. And would also let you see the vMix 26 the beta that came out that we reviewed last week. That'd be worth it right there. That's number one. You get a free update. Number two, X-Keys is kicking in a video switcher set. And so we'll put that on our website at easternshorebroadcasting.com so that you can see all that too. And what was the next one? I know. If this is my ego talking, but if you would like me to autograph this X-Keys, I will autograph the X-Keys anywhere you want, on the top, on the bottom, on the side. Yeah. And in fact, we might be able to get Maggie to autograph one too. So let us know what you want. If you want an X, in fact, Maggie, we might be able to get more than just Maggie's autograph. We might be able to get the creator of X-Keys to autograph it. Wouldn't that be a blast? Oh my gosh. All right. So you can get it autographed. You can get a button set. You can get a free vMix update, all by getting your vMix, your very own vMix XK-80. And if the order is placed during the month of November, you can wait till November 30th and place that order and get it in. And it'll make a great Christmas present for yourself. Okay, enough of this. Let's pop over to, we've got a button for this. Let's see. Let's bring this one in right here. We'll just gently place it on top of the other one, hopefully not activating any buttons. And we have a button right here that is the outro for the show. I meant to show you how that was done. That's a series of multiple shortcuts and triggers. We probably ought to do a whole show on that kind of setup. Anyway, multiple shortcuts and triggers. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're now in the post show, and Tommy is in a state of confusion. Thought he lived in the state of Alabama, but yeah. So there we go. You guys are so funny. Subtle too. Subtle as bricks. Subtle as bricks. Yes, indeed. Joe DeMax and Maggie got to hang out at NAB, where Joe was there working in the X-Keys booth, showing off central control on an X-Keys. Yes, indeed. I love the cooperation between different vendors, different products. Yeah, it's really cool. And Maggie is the one to know. Hundreds of triggers that you could assign to an X-Keys in vMix. That's true. Yep, and not to mention shortcuts and activators. Yep. Oh, and I've got a little purple activator right here saying that my audio's on. How about that? Woohoo. Woohoo. All right, let's see. What did we miss here? Oh, Steve, thank you very much. Steve says, don't forget to hit that like button. It really did work. Last week's video, we ended up with like 23, or last time I looked, 23 likes on it, and it already had like 1,700 views. So I appreciate that, and it helps kind of get the word out about what we're doing as a community with vMix and X-Keys and all these other great products that we work with on a regular basis. Yeah. Is there anything that explains each of the vMix functions? Well, Tommy, that's an excellent question. The answer to your question is yes. But that wasn't really your question. Your question was, where can I find something that explains each of the vMix functions? And I am going to show you right now. So let's go here. And we're going to go into the top right-hand corner of vMix. See that little question mark right there? That is the online help. And that brings up this right here. And so right here in the left-hand column are all the functions and features of vMix. As you can see, it's quite a list. This is the vMix user guide. And probably the part that I refer to the most has to do with shortcuts, and I never can find it. So I go to search, and I just search for shortcuts. And we've got local and global shortcuts. All right, local and global shortcuts. Local shortcuts are saved to preset, blah, blah, blah. That's not the one we want. How about shortcuts there? No, that's not the one we want right there. How about this shortcuts there? Click here to read the user guide for keyboard and controller shortcuts. Well, there we go. Keyboard and controller shortcuts. We're getting somewhere, Tommy. All these shortcuts can be configured from the shortcut tab in settings. How to add a shortcut, templates, local and global shortcuts, advanced MIDI shortcuts. Is there anything more to that? Let's just take a peek at advanced MIDI shortcuts. No, that's not what we wanted. Let's go down the list. Dynamic input and value shortcuts. No. How to add a shortcut, amazing functions to a single shortcut. Introductions and features. Let's just see if that gives us a link to what we want. Supported hardware. Shortcuts is on the list. No. Let's keep looking over here. Shortcut function reference. Well, isn't that obvious? That's it. Holy cow. Shortcut function reference. That's the ticket right there. That is the ticket right there. Shortcut function reference. And that is on the page entitled Shortcut Function Reference. These are the functions of all the shortcuts. And in a way, this is the, well, there it says right there, this is the API. So let's click the API button. And we see there's some explanation of what the API is. And if you were doing scripting, you would use API. And you would use these commands. In the left-hand column is the command, is the function in the vMix shortcut. In this particular one, let's see. That's not a very good one. Here we go. Audio. This is one we used a little while ago. The function is audio. The description, yeah, the name is audio. The description is toggle audio mute off, on, on, off. And I will say that these descriptions are rather cryptic. They are made by somebody that had to make all these descriptions in, 5 minutes. And so they made bunches of them really, really quickly. And sometimes they make sense. And frankly, sometimes they don't make as much sense as they could. For example, over here where it says parameters, parameters means what is this function gonna, what is this name, this shortcut, this API, what is it going to work on? What is it going to work with? Well, in this case, it's going to work with an input. You can see in other cases, they want it to work with a value, like 5 is a value. In other cases, it doesn't work with anything. It just is a function. In this case, this turns the audio mixer off and on. So it doesn't have to be assigned to a particular input because it doesn't have anything to do with an input. So to answer your question, Tommy, yeah, we want to go to the little question mark in the top right-hand corner, and then we're looking for shortcut function reference. Shortcut function reference. And that will get us where we want to go. Well done, sir. Good question. You really asked the best questions. Yep. Now he's going to backtrack on me. And then there are always people that want new shortcuts. vMix just added 4 shortcuts. 4 shortcuts in vMix 26. But it sounds like Gunnar would like them to have some to do with the virtual set. He needs a virtual set zoom speed shortcut to select the preset using the current speed settings. Well, yeah. This is what we call in the States sucking up. And this is what we call in the States appreciated. All right, let's see what we can do. Let's go look at some of the others. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the key blockers. That's because I don't use key blockers. I have 2, but I don't use them. In fact, those are key blockers that actually have lights built into them. You want to see that? That's really cool. Let's find we have a button for this. There it is, right there. And this is my X keys. And in the very top right-hand corner, I've got 2 X keys that have kind of like little flat black rubber covers instead of buttons. And let's see if we can't pry one of those off and see what's underneath it. There we go. And what's underneath it is, I don't know if you can see that. Basically, it's just a little piece of plastic that goes straight to where the light is. So we could do an activator that turns that light on. Let's try that. I've never tried that. It'll be fun. It'll be fun, he says. We're going to add, we're going to find a, we'll do the main shot. And the event will be, can we do just a button press? No, that never did work before. Oh, the event's going to be an input. But we don't want it to be that button. How are we going to find out what that button is? By pushing the button below it. That's 73. Next to it is 65. 74, 73. So we're looking for 72. Let's go to 72 and we'll change that. We'll just edit it and see if this is going to turn on. Type is going to be X keys button. And it's going to turn on the red. Let's do red blinking so we can really see it. All right. So we'll go back to the shot. And then do we have a shot that will show you? Oh, we did the wrong activator. Let's fix it. Settings, activators, main shot. This is going to be a local shot, and it's not going to be the main shot. It's going to be the virtual shot. Okay. So when this shot goes live, it flashes a red light to let us know that shot's live. How about that? So we could set up a whole string of keys that had lights like right above whatever the button was. So if I press this button, it might flash there. because this kind of light right here might not be enough in the high pressure environment to see that we've got something on. So we've got a red light on. That tells me that this camera is active. And yeah, that's cool. Maggie, do you guys still have those kind of key blockers that have the lights built into it? He has a knife. Yes. All right. Let's go back. We're getting sidetracked here. Don't want to get sidetracked. So our friends down in the Caribbean. Hello, John. Good to hear from you, sir. You're welcome, Tommy. Let's see. Joe needed a shortcut for that thing he was trying to do in his broadcast production the other day. Yeah, I run into that sometimes too. In fact, I need a shortcut that reads my mind to tell me what it is I need to do without me really knowing. Jan is not satisfied with the shortcuts or the activators, but he knows that I have a knife. The problem of the one to the left of it is, let's see, where's our look? Right here. The one to the left of it was also a blocker with a light built into it, and the one to the left of that was a 4-button key. So I went down and over and then went down one more to, I mean, essentially I did the same thing. I found out what that one was, and then I found out what that one was, and that told me which direction that one was. So yeah, and there's probably a map somewhere to tell you what all those are. Don't you think somebody's come up with a map somewhere? I might. How about that? We could do that in our spare time, yeah? So that was the key blockers. Whoops, sorry. Thought I was here. There we go. You guys are really smart. Of course, Dave would have done that. Dave's on my list of heroes. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. All right, boys and girls. Well, we need to wrap up this show. But with the wrap up, I will remind you that the X-Keys XK-80 is going to be featured on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting website during the month of November. If you buy one, you get a free vMix update, $60 value. You get a video key switcher set. We'll post what that looks like. And if you want, we will have one of these autographed by anybody in the X Keys outfit or yours truly. Yeah. So you just tell us what you want. Of course, I'm making that, I'm volunteering that, and I'm only in control of one of those signatures. But yeah. So Oz by Drone, glad you're here. Glad you made it over to the from the dark side. Yep, to the light side. And Martin's here. Well, Martin, you're here at the end of the show, dude. Come on, get with the program. Get with the program. Synchronize your watches. It is now 4:05 Eastern Time in the U.S. The show starts at 3. You're late. Oh, gosh. Okay. Tommy's got another question. When you first turn on the X keys, it asks you whether you want to save the program file on X keys or on the computer. Can I explain that? Sure. It's very simple. Very simple. In fact, it's so simple, it probably will confuse me. Let's go back to a desktop capture. We'll take this desktop capture, and I'm going to just fire up the PI Engineering X keys. Nope. Let's try again. PI Engineering X keys backlight utility. Well, let's do this one. We'll do this. The device. And the answer was yes or no. And I want to save it to the device. So I'm going to say yes. That's all that happened. And so when it happened like that, it turned off all the keys except the one key down here, which tells me that my audio is on off, and the key here that allows me actually to switch to the main. There we go. And then back. And it tells me that this camera is active right here. That's an active camera. That's a microphone that's on. Turn it on. The camera you can't turn off, but you can switch to another camera. So it switches to that camera or switches back to the overhead camera. So yeah, it really becomes fun. And I think one of the most fun things about it for me is that if I don't like it, I can change it. I can change any of the keys to do any of the things I want to. In fact, on my X keys, let me again bring up my X keys for you. Paying no attention to the razor knife. I've got these buttons that were sent to me. I don't know if they came with this setup or where I got them, but it's a 1 through 8 buttons, and I set these up. Sometimes I'll set them up as just quick and dirty camera buttons or quick and dirty input buttons, so that whenever I press number 4, input number 4 in vMix will become active or on or off or whatever it is. I've got these M buttons, M1 through 6, that I got somewhere. Again, just accumulated them somehow. And so I can use those to do different things, different times. But then I've got my regular show buttons that always do what I want them to do at the time. So, yeah. Right. Audio's on. Audio's on. Ah, this I didn't know. This is good. Thank you, Maggie. Storing the program in the device will allow you to plug and play without the software being installed. So if I was to pick up this XK-80 and attach it to a different vMix PC, the backlighting off would already be as the default in that. So yeah, that's cool. Dave says push the button on your X keys. The small black button. Well, I've got a fade to black button. I've got arrow buttons. I've got the take button. What does the take button do? It may just be a cut. No, it's a nothing. Not programmed for anything right now. And then these buttons are not buttons. Yeah. Oh, and Maggie says that the blue buttons right here, sorry, the blue buttons right here are part of the video switcher kit. Well, that's cool. I like them because, again, I can make them do whatever I want to. Ta-da, ta-ta. Are you sure? Have you looked that up, or is that just your opinion? So there we go. So we can have lots of fun with it. And the biggest part that I like is the fact, look on the edge next to the cable. Oh, there is a secret button right here, right below the X. X marks the spot. See the X right there? X marks the spot. What does that button do, Dave? You want me to push that button on my X keys? Will it make smoke come out? We don't want to let the smoke out. All right, here we go. 3, 2, I don't know what this is going to do. 3, 2, and then Dave's going to flash in the chat. Wait, no, not that button. All right, here we go. What happened? I don't think anything happened. Oh, Matthew says that the black button pulls up the MS 3.1 if it's minimized, says Dave. Gotcha. I don't think I had it minimized. So yeah, didn't do anything. Boy, it had me scared there for a second. Well, that's cool. We'll have to play with that. Yeah. Well, excited and afraid. It was like, don't let the smoke out. You don't want to let the smoke out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Tommy. It alerts the CIA to where I am. Oh my gosh. All right, Dan, good idea. Okay, Matthew was telling me all along. It was right there. I just didn't know it. All right. Well, you guys are great. It's been a fun show. Thank you so much for taking time out. Don't forget about our special. You can get your own X keys. It's sort of it's the X keys and the vMix have a great relationship. They make a good couple. So yeah, there you go. Glad to have you guys tune in. I'm going to leave you with a little outgoing music, and I'll catch you next week. So don't go away, and tell somebody about this X keys special thing. It could be important.